Elevate Voice TV. Thank you for tuning in, and we are so glad and delighted to give you the sports roundup with your great presenters. This is Stuart, Iconz, Uganda, alongside my brother who is here, is going to analyze. He's a football and a sports analyzer. So we are so delighted that we are with you here at Elevate Voice TV, and stay tuned. We have a lot of the sports news, national, the local scene, and we have the international sports news. So don't touch your die. We are here with you. We have a lot of things, a lot of dilemma in the sports world this week. It has happened. So we have the transfers, we have the football, I think we have the boxing news, we have the wrestling news. So don't touch your die. This is Stuart, Iconz, Uganda, and do not miss. We have a lot for you. Today we are going to talk about the local news concerning the world of sports, and we have the national news. I think in this early January, our head coach, Paulo Put, I think organized a training as they are preparing for CHAN 2025. I think it will be in early August. And I think I tried to look in the prayers that he called, which is the provisional squad, and indeed they are doing it very well. And for this week in Uganda, concerning the big league, concerning the Uganda Premier League, of course, matches were postponed. We were in Uganda Cup, and we have results for you. And I think my brother will talk about it. We can see yesterday we had one match of Seta United, and they were praying, and we have to talk about it. So thank you. Welcome my brother to say something, to greet you. I know we have a lot for you. Don't turn and listen to us. Thank you. My brother, you can.
Hi everyone, my name is Daniel Dean, your sports analyst today, and we are here to give you the sports in advance, the results, the transfers, and we are here as your presenters to give you not only football but sport, because football is only part of sport, a small bit of sport. We are here, your dear presenters, and we are going to start with the local scene straight away for the interest of time. Then we proceed to the other leagues, the transfers, and the other stuff. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, my brother Daniel, for such a greeting to the world, and I know they are listening, they are seeing us on Elevate Voice TV. So today we shall start with the Uganda Cup, and as I've told you, it has been on hold for Uganda Premier League, the Uganda Big League, even the Western Regional League, and all regional leagues. They have been at hold, and we had various matches in this week, and they started last week on 14th, and these 2 weeks, the whole of these 2 weeks, we were in Uganda Cup matches. And yesterday we had a match between Seta United versus AC Villa, and it all ended with AC Villa 3 and Seta United 0. And on 19th we had another match of Simba FC versus Mbale Heroes, and that match was very great, and of course it was a very tough game, and it ended 3-2 in favor of Simba FC. And on 18th we had a match of Junior Eagles versus Mbara City, and it was also a very good match. And I tried to watch how Mbara City was trying to pray. Of course, they had a lot of news concerning their head coach leaving the club, but it ended in a win of Mbara City of 4-3. And on 18th also we had a match between Maokota FC versus Katinda, and Katinda won with 3-0. We had a match of Water FC versus Maroons, and of course Maroons being in Uganda Premier League, it had a lot of energy. They won with Rizlo, and we had a match of New Life Katereke versus the Uganda People's Defense Force, that is UPDF, and that is UPDF in Uganda Big League, and it ended 4-2 in favor of UPDF. And lastly, we had a match between Bushenyi Veterans and Odumbaraka FC, and it all ended 0-0. Of course, I tried to see and watch that match of Bushenyi FC, but yeah, Bushenyi Veterans, they tried to make it. They created a lot of chances, but they could not score. So we think Uganda Premier League, since it has been on hold, and we have seen the Uganda Cup, that is the FA Cup of Uganda. Of course, we have seen a lot of matches, and more are coming, as our team for Uganda Cranes with our head coach Paul Put is in a training camp, and players are preparing for Chan 2025. So Daniel, you can talk about how it has been in this week concerning the Uganda Cup. You can talk about Mbara City being in Uganda Premier League. You can talk about AC Villa. It is not performing very well in Uganda Premier League. It is in the 8th position. Remember, they are defending champions of Uganda Premier League. They are not performing very well, but they won Seta United yesterday with 3-0. You can talk about the Uganda Cup as we continue to give what next. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my brother. So to start with, according to the Uganda Cup now, we see AC Villa poorly performing in the Uganda Premier League. And I think according to the analysis, according to how I see things, AC Villa, there must be like the motivation or like fatigue from the players, which has not been the case last season. And that one is caused by maybe you find players are not getting enough rest. They play game after game, so you find them coming in the Uganda Premier League this season not performing very well, and this may affect them even in the Uganda Cup. Because
so should we say that maybe like we have seen the first leg of the English Premier League, Man City, Pep side are not performing very well. Should we think that it is also fatigue? We shall get there, but I think when you talk of fatigue, of course, players, I think I remember AC Villa the other season of 2023, they tried that season, they tried to take the trophy, but at the end of it all, when in the last match, then later on Vipers came and took the trophy. So should we think that in these 2 seasons, where Villa took the trophy for the last season, and the other season where they were trying to get a trophy, they failed. So should we think that players used a lot of energy? That's why they are not performing very well.
Exactly, that is what I was talking about, that fatigue is most times brought by lack of club depth. When you don't have a depth in your squad, of course, you must have to experience fatigue from the players. They will not perform the exact duties they're supposed to perform, like we saw last season, how each one of them was doing their role. Yes? Because when you try to see in different positions as they are playing, you see them showing that fatigue themselves without even outside the pitch. Are you getting us?
Okay, thank you so much, my brother Daniel. And concerning, we shall talk about Mbara City in these past 3 weeks. They were struggling with the performance. I think they hosted KCC at Kacheka Stadium. KCC won with 2-0, and we had some news that the head coach wants to leave, and I don't know what's wrong with Mbara City, because I think maybe players they are not motivated also, because even the moment they get a good player, the good player maybe goes to other clubs that's where they are needed. Cuts of Vipers, KCC, and other clubs. Should we think that's why Mbara City is not performing or growing in football? Because we have seen Mbara City struggling, and I think in this season they are likely to be to be relegated, to go back to big league. So what should be the problem with Mbara City? I don't know, you can talk about Mbara City. We see, after all, the head coach is saying he's still around. He's still around. Those rumors, he's still around. And let's talk about it.
Thank you so much. For Mbara City, issues are internal. Issues concerning Mbara City are internal. Because as you see them, they can play a good football. They can display a good picture on the pitch, but results are not coming out. Meaning, according to the analysis that they have, Mbara City must be facing some internal problems out of the staffing, the coach, the assistant coach, and everything. Because I think Mbara City, and when we talk even about the internal issues, this is where we see the salaries, the what, such stuff, the internal part of Mbara City. That's causing the poor performance of Mbara generally, and I don't see any future of Mbara City in the Uganda Cup.
Okay, thank you so much. And as we continue to give the update on Uganda Premier League after Uganda Cup, we are going through and we are continuing with match day 16. And after match day 15, and we see Vipers being in the first position with 33 points and with a 16 goal difference. And we see NEC FC, by the way, NEC FC is performing very well. It has just been promoted to Uganda Premier League and they are really doing it the best. With 33 points and with a goal difference, just with a margin of 6 goals with Vipers. And in the third position, we have KCCA, Kampala City Council Authority FC, and they have 27 points. They remain with 11 goals. And we have Express in the fourth position. They have 25 points with a negative 3 goals. What could be the problem with Express? Express is in the fourth position. They are promising and they are not scoring. And I can see Stuart that is in the 7th position. They have only 21 points and they are scoring. They have 16 points. They are in tie with Vipers in the first position. So what could be with the problem with Express? They are performing but no goals. They have draws. They have what? What could be the problem?
Now, generally, to concentrate on Express, I don't have much to say about Express, but it is the conversion rate. Conversion rate within the Kitara players. You play, you possess the ball, but results are not coming out also. Scoring is a problem. That is the conversion rate of generally all the players on the pitch. And when you try to see Kitara FC, Kitara is revamping because it has been in the second table of the Premier League, the Uganda Premier League. But now we are seeing Kitara in the 7th position. That is showing a very good sign of improvement. And clubs above Kitara FC, just watch out. Wait for Kitara.
And remember, there is a team where Chitara scored almost 9 goals, and I think there are 2 matches that Chitara, I think, played and they scored more than 9 goals in 2 matches. And I think they are scoring in some games. I don't know when they reach in other games, but they do. So, likewise, the problem with Express, they perform, they have that middle performance. I think is URA has 24 points but with a negative 7 goal difference, and of course that is bad, finding a team in the 6th position with a negative 7 goal difference. Okay, Stara in the 7th position, and AC Villa, the champions of last season, the defending champions, they are in the 8th position with 20 points and 9 goal difference, and of course they are really, I think, that fatigue thing it is affecting them. Okay, as I've told you, the Uganda Cranes provisional squad is in the cup these 2 weeks of Uganda Cup, and the head coach, the Uganda team head coach, that is Paul Put, in the camp as they are preparing for the Chan Championship, that is Uganda Cranes versus Guinea. And we have seen Paul put a very great performance in our team Uganda, and we can see they have 4 wins and 1 loss. I think that loss, it is the loss that we had here at Nambole Stadium. for 2-0. And indeed, it has been a very great performance, and we cannot fail to thank him. And we are waiting for the final squad that is ready to go back to the camp as they prepare for Guinea in Chan Championship. So let's talk about Uganda Cranes as we are preparing for the international thing and other the results, and even we have some local news concerning some of the leagues. Universities students have reported they have a lot. We have a lot to talk about. Some leagues, the Stockholm League, the Catrico League, those from Chapa, that is Barra High School. When they come to Uganda, they try to challenge us with their leagues. So let's talk about the national team under our the head coach Paul Put.
Now, basically, the national team is exhibiting a good sign of result, and according to the words of Paul Put, the Uganda Cranes coach, he just tried. He motivated. He didn't try, but he motivated his player. Recently, he was telling them of the group they are in. They have Algeria there. There are some countries that have not yet played, where we have Q1, Q2 in the Group C, where Uganda is, with some stubborn countries. So he just tried to motivate them, telling them that, boys, you know what? You shouldn't fear. This is just a walkover. And as the coach, you study that. How to motivate your players. Although you're given a hard task to perform, you motivate them. This you can manage. This you can trust me. This you can do it like this. Although you see some challenges that may come along in having those matches. So I like his confidence when he's talking to his players, and I think that is a good sign of motivation, and it gives them results at the end of it all.
Yeah, I think when Paul Put was handed on over that job of Uganda Cranes, I think he has tried to make the rising stars to have confidence, and even when it seems that Uganda has the common prayers that we usually use, we see Paul Put is scoring other players from other clubs that are even not known. The Masaka, I think there are two young players, the midfielder that he got from this team, this club from Masaka. So you can see he's trying to make the rising stars at least have confidence in themselves. Okay, thank you so much, and this is Elevate Voice TV. We are in the sports roundup. So in the local scene, we have news concerning the Catrico League. I tried to talk with captain, that is Kamkama Jenan. They are trying to organize for the Catrico League, and on the night film, they have an outing. They have a lot of matches to play, and as the captain from CDFC, of course, they are trying to make it possible to make sure that they catch up with their wins. I don't know whether Brother Daniel, you have anything to say concerning the local scene. I know we have a lot of local things, or many don't come and maybe report to us. So this is Elevate Voice TV. You can bring your local news, at least we speak it out the world. They get to be known. We need fan base, we need funds, we need support from those people who are there. They have money, they can support your club. So you can bring what you have for the local scene, for the local sports news, so that we can hear it out here on Elevate Voice TV. So Daniel, do you have anything to say concerning the local sports news?
Thank you so much, my brother. So concerning the local sports, I would like to give a simple advice. We not only come here to talk about Arsenal, Manchester United, Madrid, Barcelona, but local sport is so important. And I would like to talk the importance of having local sport, talking about local sport generally in our program, because first of all, it helps in identifying talents within our players. Mostly these leagues, these small leagues, you see them as small leagues, but they are doing a lot of good advantage. We have seen the Uganda Premier League, the Uganda Cranes coach. Paul put, he has been identifying some of the simple, you can call them simple players out of the small teams, inviting them for the CHAN game. Why is the CHAN, then when we go to CHAN, why is the CHAN concentrating on players playing in domestic leagues to identify talents? Because we shall see in the future of it all, these players being identified by the foreign leagues, being invited, called upon by different teams out of the foreign countries to go and play. So when we come back to these teams, our local teams we have, they will be identified at least at the national level. These leagues play a very vital role in identifying and uplifting talents of very many people, not only football, even other games that we have. So we request our viewers, please just give us, send in your local sport news, the fixtures, the different leagues, for us to have them and just present them to you, so that we can give a good idea, a good promotion of our players. There are very many players who can play very good football in our villages there, in our towns there. There are very, very good talents there, but we are just putting them down because we are concentrating on the foreign leagues, which will not help us.
Let's say of recent, I think Dennis Omedi was signed by a club from Rwanda just of recent, with only one goal, a superb goal, a masterclass goal that he scored that was nominated. He was signed by a Rwandan team, and of course this gives us confidence that even when you have talent and explore your talent back in village, at least you can have a club that can sign you, so that you can at least give what you have in your talent. Okay, thank you so much. This is Elevate Voice TV. We are coming to give the international scene. Of course, I've told you this week it has been a week of dilemma concerning the world of sports and football. We had Champions League, we had Europa League, we have Conference League, and of course don't miss, we are here for you. We have a lot of analysis, the transfer news, so don't miss. This is Elevate Voice TV. Alright, welcome from the break. This is Elevate Voice TV with your presenters Stuart, Iconz, Uganda, alongside brother Daniel. We are giving the sports roundup, and this week, of course, a lot of dilemmas that happened in this week. We have finished the national and the local sports scene, and now we are going to the international scene. We had Champions League this week. We had the Europa UEFA League, and we have the Europa Conference League, and of course we had our teams that we are supporting playing this week, and of course it has been a great one as we are preparing for the matches, the fixtures that are around this evening in the Spanish La Liga, in the Italian Serie A, in the French League 1, German Bundesliga, and in the Greece. There are a lot of matches played this Friday, and tomorrow being a weekend, we have a lot of Premier League, we have the Spanish La Liga. So those that want to maybe press their bets, and we are going to give analysis on your teams, and of course you can press and win. This week a lot of transfers. Remember, January is ending on 21st. The winter transfer is yet to be closed. Of course, teams are struggling and they are looking for players. Recently, we have seen Arsenal looking for the strike, and all the rumors we are rotating on Benjamin Sissoko, the Leipzig in the play, and almost we shall give you the updates on that transfer. And I think this time let us have do you know moment in the world of sports. Do you know something in the sports? So you can always stay tuned to Elevate Voice TV. We have got a lot for you concerning what do you want to know in the world of sports. So brother Daniel, you can give do you know, or do you want to know this in the world of sports?
Now, as Elevate TV, we are just here to inform you and give interesting facts in football. And here we come our did you know facts of the day, which you have to know exactly. Did you know that the fastest hat-trick to be scored was scored by Sadio Mane in a game against Aston Villa in the Premier League game in 2025 in 2015. This hat-trick was scored in a minimum of 2 minutes. Yes, that's our did you know facts. Just stay on Elevate TV. You'll get to know each and everything concerning sport, not only football, because football is part of sport. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, and we are going to give the highlight on the UEFA Champions League, and it was on Tuesday. And on Tuesday we had a lot of matches. We had Monaco playing Aston Villa, and Monaco won with 1-0, and the goal was scored in the 8th position. Of course, Aston Villa has already signed a player from Borussia Dortmund, that is Darren, the Turkish international. Of course, we have seen a lot of teams trying to engage themselves in this transfer window, and we saw Atalanta scoring 5-0. Of course, it has been good for Atalanta ever since they started this group matches. Of course, every team is going to play 9 games, and the 7th game, Atalanta is trying to show up. It's trying to show that indeed it can score. It can score. And those who are always pressing their bets, Atalanta can make every time, and then can make an over. Can play. I think in the past matches, Atalanta was scoring more than three goals. We saw Atletico Madrid with Bayer Leverkusen, Atletico Madrid winning with 2-1. Of course, all teams had red cards, and we see Leverkusen trying to fight out, trying to get a result, but Atletico Madrid trying to show energy through their player Julian Alvarez. They signed him from Man City. Of course, he did the best. On Tuesday, we had Barrios scoring in the 25th minute, and Julian Alvarez scoring. Of course, indeed, it has been such interesting game. And we had Real Madrid. Real Madrid scored 5-1. Of course, you cannot rule out one boy, the star, the Brazilian star, that is Junior. Of course, Junior scored 2 goals, and of course, you know, there is Kylian Mbappe and Rodrigo they also scored, and of course, against RB Salzburg, of course, it has been a best performance for Real Madrid. Remember, there have been rumors concerning their coach, Carlo Ancelotti, that they want to chase him, and after electing the new president, of course, they are trying to sign out. We have heard rumors that they want maybe William Saliba of Arsenal. They need a defender at least the Arabas and the other. Of course, they need a central defender. Now the coach is, they are almost chasing the coach. So you can see, even when Madrid is in the first position in Spanish La Liga, remember they didn't do well in the Copa del Rey. Remember Barcelona won them, and of course that's why maybe Carlo Ancelotti wants to be chased. And in the 7th match, we had Celtic against Young Boys. I don't know Young Boys. Young Boys was a promising team, I think, in 2017-18 there. It could score, but we can see Celtic with a red card won Young Boys with 1-0. Then a very nice and great match that needed us to be to watch, that is PSG Paris Germain in France versus Man City. Of course, the game was really interesting with 4-1 in favor of Paris Germain. I don't know what could be the problem with Pepe's side, because we see Guardiola's side these days they can't score, but every time and then there is a promising moment for the opponent to score. I saw Haaland scoring, Jack Grealish scoring in the 58th minute, Henning Haaland scoring in the 53rd minute, and Ousmane Dembele started from there. So I think Daniel, you give your analysis and you tell us what could be the problem with the Guardiola side. We see Ousmane Dembele scoring. Man of the match, Neves and Goncalo Ramos, of course, he scored in the added minutes in the 19th, 90th. There he scored the first goal. Of course, Manchester could not grab a win against PSG. And of course, we had a lot of matches that were there, but let us put a hold and at least we speak on these matches that were played on Tuesday as we give more results. I think we shall talk about the performance of Manchester in the Champions League. It is in the 25th position. That is almost at the edge of not even playing at the knockout stage, because remember, Champions League, they take 8, they qualify immediately in the round of 16, and the last 18 teams or 16 teams, they play playoffs, and they get the 8 teams that will join the 8 teams that will go for that will already have been qualified. Manchester take up, because when you look at the table for the group, we see Liverpool making it. It has already qualified, although we are remaining with few matches. We see Barcelona, we see Atalanta, we see Arsenal in the 3rd position. Of course, for them, at least they have already known what to do. They have already known that they have qualified. So, what could be the problem with Manchester? Because we can see Real Madrid is fighting hard to make sure at least it goes through the playoffs. Yeah.
Now, when we see Pep's side, I think the most disturbing issue in Man City would be the injuries they are facing. Injuries have become a very big blow to the Pep's side, because we are seeing most of their main men. We see Haaland is not performing well, because we saw last season he has been served with balls from KDB. We saw what he did last season that gave them the victory. Not only last season, but previous 3 seasons, we have seen how he has been a very important figure in the team. We see Rodri. That was a very big blow of an injury that he got. For the whole season, he's not around. So generally, the issue disturbing Pep's side is just the injuries they are having. Are you seeing? Injuries they are having have disturbed them a very big, in a very big blow this season. That's why they are not performing well, and we don't hope for any proceedings from their position they are in. And we are going to see hardships within the big teams, Madrid, the other stuff. They are facing also a very big challenge from the other teams. This season is not for the weak generally.
I think concerning Manchester, Pepe Guardiola has tried to sign, and now they have 3 signings. In this week we saw they signed Omar Mamosh from Eintracht Frankfurt in German, and at 59 million euros. I think he was needed. That's why Pepe is trying to make sure that the fatigue his players has. I think even we see, even when Rodrigo got an injury, he tried to fix there with Nico Lewis. He tried to pray, but I think Pepe Guardiola made a mistake when he sold Julian Alvarez. Because if Haaland is not giving goals, Foden is not giving goals, we see KDB even now trying to struggle to create. So yeah, I think even when you try to watch Manchester on the pitch, they are not promising like they used to play in the past 5 seasons.
Yeah, of course, and that is what we call fatigue that I told you at first. When your players are tired, because we have seen players play game after game in the last 3 seasons. Now when it comes to this season, they have to do that.
We have seen Manchester signing the the Lens player at 33 million, that is Abdulkadir Kusanovic, and they have already signed Vita Renes from Palmeiras in Brazil at 29 million euros, and of course Manchester they are trying to sign and look for the players, because now Pepe Guardiola is not ready to use the Jack Grealish, whose form they are now at a low level. We have Doku, we have such players that are trying to struggle around. There is this player they signed from Wolves. He's trying to struggle. But I think Manchester is trying to make sure that in this at least second leg of English Premier League, they can do the best even when they are not performing in UEFA Champions League. Likewise, the struggle for Manchester is against Bayern Munich. We saw Feyenoord scoring 3-0 against Bayern Munich. So I think Bayern Munich, they signed, is it Vincent Kompany? They signed Vincent Kompany after leaving a job in Crystal Palace. I thought Vincent Kompany is going to change Bayern Munich. He tried to sign players like Michael Olise. He's trying to make sure that he brings back the other Bayern Munich we know. Feyenoord scored 3 goals.
Now, Bayern faced the problem of the red card in that game, as we also. That was the first motivation they got from the start of the game. Getting a red card and playing 10 men on the pitch is not easy. So that's why Feyenoord got the chance to score up Bayern 3. Nevertheless, they are supposed to show that because they have experienced players. They have been in the league. They have a couple of trophies they have won compared to Feyenoord. So then I don't have much to say about Bayern, but Kompany is also facing a very big blow.
Yeah, we have seen Bayern, of course, giving a new contract to their keeper, a long-time keeper, that is Manuel Neuer, and a 1-year contract is already signed. Of course, Manuel Neuer is going to keep at Bayern for another year. Of course, he's a legend in Bayern. Yeah, we saw Arsenal playing against Dynamo Zagreb, and we saw a superb goal, a fantastic goal from Declan Rice. From Havertz's assist, and Havertz came scored in the second half, and Martin Odegaard, of course, finishing up and wrapping it up in the 9th or in the 90th. Of course, Arsenal performed very well, but it's not, of course, creativity is lacking these days without Bukayo Saka. The scoring rate is at 0%. I wonder why Mikel Arteta is not signing a striker, though they are trying to sign Benjamin Sissoko. We saw Benjamin Sissoko scoring with his team RB Leipzig in the Champions League. So you can give a highlight on Arsenal as we proceed. The striking rate, surely the scoring rate Arsenal that is showing in this season is not promising. Of course, they are losing confidence in getting the trophy this season.
Arsenal results are not. You cannot come out and become happy because of Arsenal just getting that win. Because it was a struggle also. I can call it a struggle. Because from the beginning of the first half, that goal was scored around in the fifth minute.
It was
the second minute by Declan Rice. So Arsenal was supposed to have a minimum of 3 goals in the first half of that game, but the conversion rate within the players, that is lacking. Arsenal without Bukayo Saka is nothing. You cannot see goals. There is no creativity. Creativity will be there, but the main man in front, in the position 9 to score for Arsenal. That's why they are having rumors of Benjamin Sesko, but it will be hard for Arsenal to bring that man, because they have been having different interests in different players to bring and sign to sign them, but those are just rumors. We have been seeing Arsenal in the previous seasons, how it has been behaving. You know the behavior of Arsenal in the transfer window. Just rumors, but fortunately it may come at the end, towards the end of the window. They sign a player, but during the middle, the beginning of the window, we cannot see any progress.
I think
on the Arsenal side.
Arteta knows that he wants a striker, but the problem with Arsenal is the sporting director, that is Edu, of course left to them. They don't have a sporting director. They are trying on sport to get sporting director. So even the sporting side, of course, it is lacking without a sporting director. Now it is winter. You need a striker, and you all know. I've tried to see Arsenal even struggling with William Saliba also. So you can see Arteta is trying to. He knows he wants a striker, but I think this winter it was going to be very hard without a sporting director.
Exactly.
Yeah, we saw other matches. That is AC Milan. AC Milan winning with 1-0 in the Champions League. Of course, AC Milan they are trying also to qualify against Girona. They scored 1-0. We saw another match. Sparta Prague with Inter Milan. Of course, Inter Milan won with 1-0. Of course, it was not promising for Inter Milan, scoring 1-0 against Sparta Prague, and we saw RB Leipzig winning with 2-1. Of course, with against Sporting Lisbon. With man on fire, that is Victor Gyökeres. Of course, he scored. We saw Benjamin Sissoko scoring in the 8th minute. We saw, I don't know, I think the problem with Man City and Bayern is the problem that is at Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund is losing player, the best player. Just of recently, they have left Dolan to leave and join Aston Villa. Yeah, they are struggling, and of course Bologna won with 2-1 against Borussia Dortmund. We saw Slovia, Bratislava with 1 goal, of course, against Stuttgart. Of course, Stuttgart won with 3-1, and Club Brugge versus Juventus. Of course, it ended 0-0. Let's talk about Liverpool. Liverpool on fire. Of course, they won with 2-1 against Lille from France, and of course, Lille first scored, though it got a red card, and of course, they started shining at the end. Liverpool, they shined, and they scored 2 goals. And do we think that Liverpool is trying to leave their potential and confidence in this second leg, in this new leg of this season, because they are trying to score at the last minutes? We can see in the Premier League in their last match playing Brentford, after making a substitute, and they scored 2 goals in the added minutes. So should we think that Liverpool is trying to struggle also?
Now, for the sake of Liverpool, we don't have much to say about Liverpool, but we just pray for consistency, because they are in 2 leagues and they are leading Champions League. They are leading the English Premier League. We just pray for consistency, because we see most of their players are playing game after game. The likes of Van Dijk, yeah, we are seeing them playing game after game, and we shall have to face fatigue from some of them. We just pray for consistency. If you don't get injuries, for the sake of Liverpool, you will have a move.
Okay, we have Barcelona also in Champions League. They are trying to show up. Of course, Barcelona won Benfica with 5-4. Of course, Benfica had a red card in the 90s there. They got a red card, but Barcelona, of course, they tried to show through their young star, that is Rafinha, the Brazilian. He scored an hat-trick, and we saw Roberto Lewandowski scoring 2 goals in that match. Of course, it has been so good, and we saw our known goal from Araujo. We had speculation that Araujo wants to leave Barcelona, but of recent he has signed a new contract in Barcelona, so he is not going anywhere. So I think Barcelona is trying to show up in the Champions League, and remember they are title contenders. Of course, they have young talents, the Gavi, the Pedri, and the other. Of course, they have a good striker, Roberto Lewandowski, who can score almost 40 goals in a season. So what do you say about Barcelona? concerning the performance in the Champions League?
Now, Barcelona can try to show some kind of experience because you have Lewandowski, he'll be scoring, he has scored trophies, he has the Champions League trophies, he has won them in Bayern. So, for Barcelona, talking about now Rafinha, it was a very good performance from him, and that's why we saw him being included on the Champions League Team of the Week, because he was listed on the Champions League Team of the Week. For Barcelona, those were good results for them. We expected that, and out of the red card that Benfica got, it also got an advantage out of that. Although they are also they conceded 4 goals. You see,
I think that's why they are trying to contain Arroyo.
Exactly.
Because being a centre back, you want to
try to maintain some of the defenders and at least bring experience, because this level now we are reaching the Champions League stage. Those are the knockouts. We shall have to need experience out of your players that you have. So you have to maintain and at least bring, because we have seen Barcelona has some good youngsters out of them, so they have to be motivated by the experience players, like Lewandowski and others.
Okay, Champions League table remaining with few matches. We have Liverpool in the first position with 21 points. Of course, Liverpool has already gone through in the Champions League table. Now they are waiting. They are in the 8 teams that are going to qualify immediately. We have Barcelona with 18 points. We have Arsenal in the third position with 16 points. Inter Milan in the fourth position. We have Atletico Madrid, Inter Milan, and Atalanta, and even Leverkusen. Of course, we are taking the 8 teams. We are remaining with only 1 match, and of course, as I've told you, Man City is in the 25th position. If it loses in the last match, Man City is likely is not going to qualify for Champions League. It's not going to qualify for the knockouts. It's not going to. Of course, it's going to be knocked out. Of course, we have seen some teams trying to fight out. We have Real Madrid in the 16th position, and Dortmund, though they are trying their level best. So I think Champions League, that's how it ended this week. And of course, we had a lot of matches. Of course, Chelsea, Manchester United in the UEFA League. Of course, there were a lot of matches last night, and of course, we shall not go through all of them because there are very many matches. I think we shall talk about the game of Lazio against Real Sociedad, and those are the best teams that they have experience in the UEFA leagues, in the UEFA matches. Of course, we cannot rule them out, though they are in the Europa League. We have Frankfurt. Those are best teams with best players, so we need to talk about them. And we have to see the performance of Ajax losing 1-0, and of course Manchester United, of course, as usual, they tried to fight out in the last minutes and scored a late winner against Rangers. And of course, let's talk about it. Ajax lost 1-0. Lazio won with 3-1 against Real Sociedad. Of course, Real Sociedad had a red card, and we saw Lyon also struggling, and full time it ended 0-0. We see FC Porto losing against Olympiacos. Olympiacos won with 1-0. So of course, we have to talk about teams like Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham Hotspur is, even when they have signed a keeper. Remember, their keeper has an injury, and now they tried to sign a keeper, but it is conceding. So yeah, you can wrap up your analysis on these Europa games. Spurs winning 3-2, of course, though it won, but still the game on the pitch is not promising. We saw Roma losing. Almost actually big teams in the Europa League, they have lost.
Now,
what could be the problem?
For the sake of Spurs, we see all the concentration we shall be putting it maybe in the defense section, because even in the English Premier League, Spurs is not performing very well. it is conceding a lot of goals. That is first. The players on the pitch are not exhibiting their roles that they're supposed to be showing up, because they're also facing a problem with the conversion rate. Are we together? So when we come to the defense part, they are conceding a lot of goals. We are seeing Pedro Porro is not outstanding. We see Udogi is not fit. So when you miss two players, because when you see Pedro Porro, it is almost missing him out of the poor performance that he's exhibiting. It's almost missing him because he's not showing up what he's supposed to be showing compared to the last season. So when we go to the Besiktas game versus Athletic Club, Besiktas it was an outstanding performance from the team. It was a good win and a straight win. Abaka Papula, you just won that. You won that, and
of course with Anova, Besiktas won with 4 goals,
4-1. So for Victoria Pleasant and Anderlecht, of course, Victoria and Anderlecht, Victoria was supposed to win because it has more appearances than Anderlecht in the Europa League. And FC20 versus Malmo. Malmo faced a red card, and it was a walkover for FC20 to move on. Then Lazio, Real Sociedad got a red card, and it was also a move on for Lazio. We see for this season, the UEFA Europa League and the Champions League, this match day 7, we have most teams have faced a very big problem of red card. Most of the teams in this match day 7 got red cards, and you see Real Sociedad, Malmo, Braga versus Lyon, St. Galois, they all got red cards, and it was also a good advantage. Most of them won their games.
I think most of the teams wanted to come and fight out. Remember, this is almost we are in the last touches for the group stages, so they tried to, maybe they came when they wanted to fight out that energy to get a win from this match. Of course, we can see the Europa table as in the first position. We have Frankfurt in the second, and Atletico Club, and we see Manchester United winning against Rangers. Of course, Manchester United has not lost in this the Europa League. Of course, they have 1 draw and 4 wins, and this Europa, and they are in the 4th position. Lyon in the 5th position, and Tottenham Hotspur, though it is struggling, it has only 4 wins, and most of them they are draws, 2 draws and 1 loss. Is in the 6th position. Of course, we cannot rule out Tottenham Hotspur is going to qualify, though it is struggling in the Europa League, because Europa League has no much energy like Champions League. Of course, taking you through the UEFA Conference League. Of course, UEFA Conference League. We had a lot of matches, but of course we shall not go through all of them. And of course we see the side of Enzo Maresca's side, that is the Chelsea, and the other teams. Of course they are trying to fight, and of course you can talk about the UEFA Conference League. Talk about the UEFA Conference League. Of course we can see how the clubs were trying to fight out. So you can talk about the UEFA Conference League, maybe the Premier League teams, and we'll wrap it up for the UEFA.
Now for the UEFA Conference League, we see some of the English side teams trying to play out, show what they're supposed to show, although it is somehow called the small league compared to the UEFA Europa League and the Champions League. But when we see the UEFA Conference League, teams are also trying to exhibit their good performance out of the games they are playing, because most of the teams are still struggling also, because I told you earlier that most of the teams got red card law out of the games that they had over this week. So most of them are still struggling, and we are seeing some of the new teams showing a very good performance compared to the other teams that have been showing up in the previous seasons. Yeah.
Okay, Enzo Malaska's side, that is Chelsea, the Blues. Of course, they are in the first position in the UEFA Conference League. Of course, they are performing very well. They haven't lost any match. They are trying to score. They have a lot of goals in the UEFA. Of course, they have a difference of goals. I think 21 goals, so they are trying to score. And of course in the Premier League they try to struggle out. Of course they were promising, they have good players, young talents. Of course they tried to sign out Sancho, the Joao Felixes, and they are trying, but this I think in the second leg they are trying to pull out their performance. Anyway, thank you. Those are the roundup concerning the UEFA competition. That is the Champions League, the Conference League, and the UEFA Europa League. And now we can talk about the transfers that are the transfer rumors, and even we can talk about the signings of this season. Of course, I've told you this winter most teams are not signing a lot as it is required. Of course, we have seen, I've told you, Manchester have already have showed up in the transfer winter with 3 players. That is Omar Moshi from Eintracht Frankfurt. And we have seen Aston Villa signing Dorian Marin from Borussia Dortmund, and of course that is a star, the Turkish star. And we have seen Tottenham Hotspur struggling with their keeper. They have just signed Antonio Visic. Of course, is trying to show off. And we have seen Chelsea. They haven't signed because they have a lot of players, even on loan. So they tried to call. Trevor Chalobah from Crystal Palace back to the team after Chelsea struggling and conceding in this second leg. I think you can talk about the recall of Trevor Chalobah back. I tried to watch a match of Chelsea in the weekend, and I tried to see Trevor Chalobah doing it very perfectly.
Actually, Chalobah is trying to show a good performance at Crystal Palace. And that's why Chelsea are coming back interested in his services. We see, according to me, when you consider Trevor Chalobah's performance at Crystal Palace, if I was me, I wouldn't return to Chelsea, because first of all, Chelsea will have to look for another player come next window, because they will not be Trevor Chalobah will not be consistent in Chelsea because of too much competition. We see Chelsea having too many players. If I was Trevor Chalobah, I would have remained at Crystal Palace because he's getting exposure. He's playing game after game. But when you go back to Chelsea,
and of course Chelsea is struggling with injuries, and of course Wesley Fofana, who had just come, of course now he had an injury blow again. They are struggling. Manchester United, they are trying to decide on how they can leave Rashford. They can leave Rashford to leave the club, and Garnacho, even Odogu has been just signed. They are making that decision. But of course, Amorim said in the interview that he's not ready to lose Garnacho. That's why even last night I think he prayed. He's not ready to lose Garnacho. I don't know, you can talk about the loss of Rashford in the team, the loss of Garnacho in the team, and Odogu has been just signed. And of course, we need to see Amorim is trying to build a team, and I think Manchester United is demanding him a lot.
Let's start with Rashford, because you see he has been at the team since childhood. He was from the academy, and he started his official football career in 2015, and we have been seeing him playing game after game because he has had several appearances in the club. So it's time for him to look for another club and get a new challenge, because he briefed some few days back that he was ready for a new challenge to face another club. So I think for Rashford, he has to leave, because even the coach Ruben Amorim is not ready. He's not having him in his plans to use him, because we see he's not even fitting in his system. This new coach came with a new system, with a new style of play in the team which he had at Sporting, and this style of play has not been easy for United players.
Three players in the defense.
3 players in the defense. It has not been an easy style to adapt by the United players. And for the sake of Garnacho, he has to stay at United because he's trying to show a very good performance with the coach. He's trying to do his best to see that the team performs the best, gets results, but he has not yet fitted in the system. Most of the players at United have not fitted in the system. Ruben Amorim is trying to.
I think the system is also, I think, beating Hoyland. Hoyland is struggling, of course, as the only striker. They want to lose Rashford, and of course, how can you lose Rashford? And you cannot trust Hoyland to score goals. That's why even United is in the market. In the market, I think they talked about Alexander Isak and Vlahovic. They need a striker in this transfer. They talk, of course, they need Victor Gyökeres. Of course, Victor Gyökeres at Sporting Lisbon is being needed by his manager at the team. Of course, Amorim left Sporting Lisbon. Now they are trying to convince him to come to Manchester United. And let's talk about the image of Pepe Guardiola signing this list players in this winter, yet others are still dormant in the market. And of course, they are in need of Ederson. Ederson is a Atalanta midfield, and Manchester, they are considering him as a defensive midfielder. Remember, after losing Rodrigo in the midfield, now they are trying to struggle around to play with Rico Lewis, throw with Matej Kovacic in the position. So they are trying to look for the defensive midfielder. Of course, I think Pepe Guardiola is seeing Rodrigo is not going to help him with injury.
For this season, we shall count Rodri out from the club because that one was known earlier on. And for Ederson, Pep is just trying to fill that gap in the midfield to cover up with Rodri, who got a whole season injury. That's why he's interested in him, and he was previously interested in Zubimendi, but we see Arsenal having advanced talks with Zubimendi, who will come, may join Arsenal the second window, the coming transfer season, window. So we see Pep trying to at least try to cover around with the midfield part because it is the most part that is affected in the City side.
Oh yeah, right. We can talk about West Ham. They have a new coach, that is Graham Potter. They are trying also to sign out. Of course, they are in advanced talks with Leipzig player, that is Andre Silva, to come in the loan deal. Of course, talks are advancing to make sure that when he comes on a loan deal, they will sign him in the summer window in July. So I think Graham Potter has just lost in his first Premier League match. Of course, he's a new manager after chasing the manager that has been on the team. Of course, West Ham has good players, but they are not performing this season. What could be the problem?
For West Ham side, the problem, you may not actually blame the coach because of the tactics that he's giving at West Ham side. But for West Ham, we have to give them time. And the poor performance is not only in the other leagues, but even in the Premier League. We see how West Ham is performing. Let's give Graham Potter some time to see how he will manage this.
Of course,
let's not rule him out of the one game that he played last weekend. But let's give him time. Just wait for the coming season.
Okay, so when we are back to Manchester, of course, Pepe Guardiola said he has no plans in the team to play with Kyle Walker. Walker is looking for the club to play in, and of course, the team on it, that is AC Milan, they are trying to sign Walker in this winter as a loan deal. Talk about Manchester losing Kyle Walker. Should we think that's why Guardiola has signed Omar Mamush?
For Kyle Walker, first of all, his age. We see him trying this season has tried to give and not trying to give a poor performance at City. It is is not impressing at all, and it is not showing up. And the first cause of that can be just the age. He's just ruled out because of age. That's what is causing him to give a poor performance. For Mamosh to come, that is just trying to strengthen the team, to come back to the winning ways as usual in the last 3 seasons that we have been seeing at Man City.
Okay, yesterday we saw Enzo Malasca and Chelsea Club. Of course, they are trying to make a bid on Alexander Garnacho, and of course we have seen Amorim is not ready to lose Garnacho, but Chelsea, they are in advance. They made a bid. We are waiting for the decision that is going to be made by the Manchester United management. And of course, Chelsea, they are trying to lose players who have not performed. That is Mikel Mudrak. They want to lose him. They want to lose best striker, that is Christopher Nkunku and Joao Felix. They are trying to make sure that they leave the club in this January. Talk about Chelsea. They have many players. They have signed. They have been in market for the past 2 seasons, and now they are trying to make it impossible for some players like Christopher Nkunku, like Mikel Mudrak. He was on fire. He was wanted by Arsenal, but later on Chelsea fought and took him 90 million pounds that they paid.
Now when it comes to Chelsea, at this time you have to offload, and when you're offloading, you have to use sense. You have to offload wisely for some players, because we see a couple of players at Chelsea are not given enough playing time, and this forces them to force the coach to put them aside and even release them in this transfer window. That's why most of them are demanding to be released out of the club, because they are not getting enough playing time. Let them go to the other teams and get playing time so that they can.
Like as I've told you, Leonard Araujo is signed a new contract at Barcelona, and of course teams that wanted him, that is Arsenal, they wanted him, and most of the clubs like PSG and AC Milan, they wanted Leonard Araujo, the Uruguayan international defender. Of course, he has just signed, and yesterday he was in the match when Barcelona was playing, and of course, yeah, that is the best deal for him. And of course, like as I've told you, this weekend we have a lot of matches, we have a lot of dilemma in all the leagues: Spanish La Liga, in Italian Serie A, French League 1, German Bundesliga. So we are going to make a touch in some of the fixtures. In few minutes we shall put a touch in the Premier League, and this week we have got a lot of matches to play, and we have teams that are going to play. So we need to talk about it. We need to talk about the matches that are there this week. Of course, they are playing 23rd. I think, is it the 22nd match?
Yeah, 22nd match.
Or the 23rd match day?
Match day 23.
23. Yeah, of course. Brighton is playing Everton. Liverpool is playing Ipswich, and Southampton is playing Newcastle, and Wolves is going to play Arsenal. We have seen Wolves struggling against Chelsea last week, and we see Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest. We see Man City playing Chelsea. They are struggling, both of them, they are struggling, but we have seen Man City signing, so we can see the motivation for the new players in the team. And we have Tottenham Hotspur in this week on Sunday playing Leicester City. So yeah, you can talk about the Premier League fixture for this week, and we see Crystal Palace on Sunday shall play Brentford. We see Aston Villa playing West Ham. West Ham, they have Graham Potter has a lot of tests now against Aston Villa to show us that indeed he can manage the team. And lastly, we shall see Fulham playing Manchester United on Sunday. So it is the last match to watch on Sunday. So this week we shall make a touch. In a few minutes, you can talk about
maybe Man City Chelsea game.
Man City Chelsea
the game of the week.
Yeah.
And I'm expecting a great resistance from the Chelsea side because of the doubting performance from the City side. But Abaka Popular, just visit Elevate Voice TV for more predictions and for sure wins, visit us at our social media handles, Elevate Voice TV on WhatsApp, on YouTube. We are ready to give you all those predictions, and for the game of the week, I expect Man City to have a win.
You can talk about the struggling Arsenal in the strike against Wolves, because they needed one player from Wolves, that is Achuna. Achuna is still in decision to leave Wolves, and is a star now. We have seen Wolves losing its best players. I think in the past 2 weeks they lost Neves, and they let this player. There is a player that went in Manchester. That is there is a player that went in Manchester. Is that player in Manchester that left Wolves? I had forgotten, and Wolves is trying. Of course, it lost. That is Juvenez. Of course, they were best players. Adama Traore. So, should we think that Achuna is leaving Wolves in this way?
It is not yet predicted, maybe for Matthias Cunha to leave Wolves side, but we see Arsenal also facing a bit of challenges on the striking side. The conversion rate, as I had told you, Arsenal is facing that very big challenge because of the loss of Bukayo Saka on the striking lane. So we see most of the football Arsenal is playing, it is just a wing game, because we see most of their goals come in an open game. In an open play game, most of their goals come out of the wings. And when you have dormant wings, because we don't have Bukayo Saka, we see the performance of Gabriel Martinelli is not outstanding. So we will have to have a few goals in this game because you don't have even a striker who is outstanding. We saw Gabriel Jesus getting an injury over the weekend during the last week game of the FA game. So we see Arsenal trying to struggle out of this match day 23 of the English Premier League game.
I think when Arteta is trying to assign number 7 to replace Bukayo Saka, we have seen Ethan Ranieri coming through an injury. He's now back, and he played against Dynamo Zagreb in this Champions League. I think Arteta now is relieved. Ethan Ranieri can give something. The Premier League table now this week, Liverpool is in the first position with 50 points, and of course with Arsenal, they are trying to fight out with 6 points different. Arsenal has 44 points. Nottingham Forest, the team on fire, with Chris Wood scoring every match and with outstanding players, and is in the third position. And I think let's talk about the Nottingham Forest. Should we think Nottingham Forest is playing Champions League this season?
Actually, Arsenal should expect a very good challenge from Nottingham Forest, because we see Nottingham Forest exhibiting a very good performance. You remember very well at the end of the last season, Nottingham was fighting hard not to be relegated. It ended in the 17th position. You remember very well.
Yeah.
But we are seeing this time Nottingham Forest in the third position, 44 points with Arsenal. Only that what is putting the difference?
The goal difference.
That's the only difference, because we see Nottingham Forest having few goals than Arsenal. So Arsenal should be ready for a challenge from Nottingham Forest. Out of the blue, we may see Nottingham Forest playing Champions League. Remember, it has a trophy and Arsenal doesn't have.
Okay, Chelsea in the first position, and of course with 40 points, and there is Man City. Man City has tried to fight back in this second leg. They are scoring like nothing. Of course, against the Ipswich Town in the weekend, they scored almost 6 goals. It was a superb win. We're seeing Phil Foden scoring twice, and Haaland, of course, scoring. I think is the second top scorer alongside Mohamed Salah in the Premier League. We can see Newcastle in the 6th position, Bournemouth 7th, Aston Villa, and Brighton, Fulham, Brentford, Crystal Palace, and I think when you try to look other teams like Tottenham Hotspur that are struggling, and Manchester United, they are trying to struggle around. Manchester United in the 13th position.
Yeah.
With Tottenham Hotspur in the 15th position, they are trying to struggle out. not to be relegated this season, and of course, yeah, we can give it a credit to Man City. They are trying to fight this second, the second leg. Top scorers we have Mohamed Salah 18 goals and Erling Haaland 17 goals, and Alexander Isak, the man on fire from Newcastle, with 15 points, goals, and we have Cole Palmer from Chelsea 15. Of course, Cole Palmer is trying to show up that Pep Guardiola could not lose him in the club. And we have Chris Wood, Nottingham Forest, scoring 14 goals, and Brand Mbeumo is needed by Arsenal, 13 goals. Young Wissa from Brentford, 11 goals, and Ori Watkins, that is Aston Villa, 10 goals, and of course Matthew Sells of Nottingham Forest has 9 clean sheets, and David Raya has 7 clean sheets. Onana has 6 clean sheets. So they are trying also to show up, though in the past matches, Man City, Arsenal and other teams, they are not. And I'm wondering why Liverpool has no at least clean sheet keeper. So they are performing. So it means Liverpool, though it is performing, it is conceding.
It is conceding.
Okay. We are going to La Spanish La Liga. Of course, Real Madrid heading it with 46 points, and Atletico Madrid with 44. Barcelona struggling in the Spanish La Liga, though it is shining in the Champions League with 39 points. And of course, we have a couple of matches this weekend in the Spanish La Liga, and of course we see Real Madrid with a best striker, that is this guy Mbappe. They are ready to score, they are ready to do the needful, and
with Vinicius.
Yeah, this week we have a lot of games in Italian Serie A, in the French League 1. So more tips concerning betting, Baka Popular, you can follow us at Elevate Voice TV, amplifying your voices, inspiring the world. We are here for you, the sports minister, that is Stuart, Iconz Uganda, and Daniel Dean. We are here for you. Always tune in.